What's the deal, YouTube? I didn't even know if we was recording yet. Anyway, back on the best coast. Let's get into it. Let's get right into it. What we doing now? All right, wisdom teeth. We're talking about wisdom teeth right now. Why do people get them pulled? First of all, if you know about your jawline and lymph nodes, the lymphatic system in general, you know, up under here you got your lymph nodes and everything, and you know your jawline itself. This represents the lungs. This is all lungs right here, all in this area. So if we understand that the lymphatic system and the lungs themselves are intimately, they're one and the same pretty much. So, and you could look at it like it's part of the whole system as the system being one. So anyway, right, the lymph nodes get swollen in this area, or inflammation in that area, whatever, what have you. And then we look at each side too. The left wisdom tooth. If your left bottom wisdom tooth is a problem, that means left lung problems or anything left on your lymphatic side. So that's all left. And whenever you lose a piece of energy in general, whether you're balding or anything, lose a shade of melanin, you lose anything, any of these things, or shade of carbon, dark matter, whatever you want to call it. So you lose any of these things, pieces of you, you're basically losing consciousness. Every organ is conscious of itself. Melanin is conscious of itself. So as you lose pieces of energy, you're losing consciousness. You gain more subconscious. And as like in the tree of life itself, it says that you can look at the chakra system. The gut or the abdominal region is the water. So water itself is subconscious and emotions. Subconscious and emotions. Most people live at that state of being, at that plateau. So if you're losing energy and going more into the subconscious, into the water, into the depths, and you're a waiter, okay, you're expanding in that area. That's why we see people with big bellies and big, that region, abdominal region, because they're going into the subconscious. They're not consciously living, they're not deliberately living their lives. They're not living with intensity. Their intensity is all misplaced. It's there, but it's all misplaced. People blow up and things like that because they're bottling things up. They're not, life doesn't flow through them. Anybody constipated knows that life isn't flowing through them right. So anyway, let's get back to the lymphatic system and the wisdom teeth. Each tooth means something. So if you're losing this is left lung, right lung, you got your upper tooth. Every piece of you represents the whole, every piece of you represents the whole piece of you. But of course, each spot is specific to certain organs. So when we look at the wisdom teeth, what I realize, especially as someone who has pretty much, I was born high and drunk, so you think about it, or I should say I re-arrived high and drunk. So it's a lifelong, or this lifetime in this persona. If as far as death goes, and death being what you make it, life being how you take it. If I'm shedding myself totally in the cells and all the habits, then yeah, I can die in that form consciously and shed and move on from that lifetime consciously, deliberately. I know I've said this plenty of times before. So that's the way you can kick a habit. But from experiencing the habit, knowing that my left wisdom tooth, the damage I was doing to it from the smoking itself, messed up the whole musical of my whole body, just from attacking my wisdom teeth like that. It's called a wisdom tooth for a reason. We got to understand that the breath is key. The breath of life is key. If you look, like, we get into the breath and harnessing that power, the air power in our body, in our life, then we can achieve different levels, different frequencies, and tap into them, and we can attract more energy and more things to our lifestyle, or to our life. So pretty much, this is the wisdom teeth. Let you know, if you're pulling the wisdom teeth out, you're basically kind of putting a cap on wisdom, in a sense, on a piece of energy that is now missing. Now you have to regenerate it, and anything is possible. Remineralizing your teeth, we in Cali, so that they getting right over here. They blazing up. Anyway, right? So you got, if you remineralize the teeth through your diet, then you can really, the biggest thing as far as remineralizing it is the phytic acid. Phytic acid. So you should soak all your grains, nuts, seeds, legumes, all that. Soak all that so you can actually absorb food. The phytic acid really destroys us because it blocks mineral absorption, phosphorus and other minerals. If you're based on grains and legumes, like most people eat rice and beans and around the planet, you're getting so much phytic acid that you're blocking for a lifetime. Think about decades of phytic acid in your intestines. I mean, I guess they would say the other side of that, of the pole of what it does for benefiting you, is that the acid is like an anti-nutrient to where it, flushes your system. Like if somebody were to have beans and it has a lot of phytic acid or something like that, it is fiber to push the system out. They say that's what people that are in support of phytic acid. But anybody that knows about phytic acid knows that if you don't soak your nuts and seeds and legumes and all these things, then you can actually absorb what's in them. If you don't, you're not going to get anything really out of them. You're not going to get too much. You're going to get maybe 30% of what the potential was from the plant. I mean, from the food, whatever the thing is that you need to soak, and diminish that phytic acid. So we're looking at it like that. We're realizing that it really comes down to the breath. Everything really boils down to the breath. I always, it really comes down to the breath, because if your energy is there and it's constantly there and you're breathing right, lymphatic system's right, and the oxygen flows throughout the body, then there's no way you can be sick. There's no way to deteriorate. Regeneration will happen almost instantaneously. Your teeth would begin to regenerate almost instantaneously. So I would just say, watch the phytic acid. Realize it's called a wisdom tooth for a reason. Each piece of energy is basically instrument in your song of life, and how you express life itself and express the creator that you are, that you truly are. So when you get down to the breath and controlling the breath, you control life in a lot of ways. You control how the universe flows, and because it's flowing through you. Inhale, exhale, and that's with everything. And I got a bunch of videos that I didn't really want to. I had to stop myself throughout this video because I didn't want to give those ones up. So welcome back.